Alright, welcome to the end of the year book tag because I wanted something relatively easy to film, and full disclosure, I have a lot of cats around me at the moment. I've got Poo really wanting attention. He's in my lap because if I don't let him in my lap, he'll yell at me and also try to knock over the tripod because cats are useful. Tony was around, and then someone in the apartment decided to come home, so now he's scared and under the futon because he was a fearless kitten, but now he is a very terrified adolescent. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to do the end of the year book tag because this is what my mental health can do. I'm in one of the lowest lows that I've been in for 5 years, but I still wanted to film something, and my bookish life is not stressing me out currently. Although I'm not going to lie, if I can't keep up the 2 videos a week, it'll be what it'll be. It's kind of one of those things where, I did post 3 videos last week, but, no one really wanted them. Most of the normal viewers are like, oh, well, these are too niche, which is fine. I wanted to film that Should You Read and that interview, so, it was still good for me to do those things. But I'm also, the motivation to produce content when other people might not want to click on it, not super high when, my mental health is just in survival mode. Truly. So we're going to do this tag, BookTube stable. I'll have the questions down below if you want to do it yourself. You should do it around this time of year. It is a lie. It's not for, end of the year. It's, prepping for the end of the year. That sort of thing. And question 1 is always about, is there a book you're in the middle of that you need to finish? And my answer is always no, because this is not the type of reader I am. But I guess in this case, I do have, a stretch of an answer, because right now I'm not actively reading anything. I need to pick up a new book later tonight. But I guess there is a book I did stop around 40% of the way through, but it was my 4th reread of A Court of Mist and Fury, which I may or may not finish, but I also just read this weekend a romance that kind of filled the whole of what A Court of Mist and Fury does for me, so I don't feel like I need to right now, but in a month or 2, if I want to finish it, I will. But it's not a priority. I've read it many times before, and I know how it ends, So that's the closest answer I have to this question. It's just not who I am as a reader. I always think about what to replace this question with, so if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. Number 2, we have a book that helps you transition into fall. And actually, the next 2 books that I'm considering reading this week, I think are good fall, early fall books, I think. And one of them is Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang. This is my next Kindle read. I have my Kindle charging right now, so I can get to it. I honestly don't really know what this is about, but I've heard grumblings of dark academia adjacent, which people always associate with fall. I just want to read it because I love Emma Wang books. I think I have technically read, the first page, and it looked very snowy. I don't know if that continues. But that's not really fall, right? That's winter. But regardless, I'm excited for that. And then the other one is Our Share of Night, which is a Latinx horror book translated, I believe, from an Argentinian author. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself on the screen. But I'm excited for this. Horror always feels like autumnal this time of year. And it's literary, and I don't know. I'm excited for it. It's a big chonker that I'm getting into. So those are my 2 answers for that. Number 3 are new releases I'm still waiting for. And this was hard because August was my big month. And I've actually been pretty good at getting to most of the books that came out in August. So for end of the year, real answers, I'm we technically have 2 Sanderson books coming out, and I guess I'm cautiously excited for Secret Project 4, especially because I think it's tied to Stormlight, which is one of my favorite series. But the other Secret Projects have been fun, but they've not been all-time favorites for me. So it's not like I'm expecting a huge win there. And then the other one is the 4th book in the, what's it called, Skyward series with Spensa. And I haven't even read Cytonic yet. So, in some ways, I'm more anticipating the reviews of that book than I am reading it, because I know I'd have to reread that series to get to it, and I just know, first-person Sanderson's not my favorite, young adult Sanderson's not my favorite, but I have read the first 2 books way back in the day, so cautiously curious. The only one I think that's, an actual thing I'm excited for is the new Foz Meadows. It's the book that's in the same universe as A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. I believe it is called All Hidden Paths. This comes out in December. So that's a good time of year for me with romances and stuff, and I just really liked how the first book went, exploring trauma and consent and stuff like that. Those are things I always like in romance books, so yeah. But then I do have new releases. I have a video that I posted a couple weeks ago, so I'll link it down below, of new releases that I haven't gotten to yet that I want to, so you have that. But also ones that I didn't mention in that video that are already out is More Perfect by Temi O, who I believe did Do You Dream of Terror 2? Which I did like quite a bit, so I'm curious to see what other ideas that they have. And then Rosen House by Arcady Martin, who wrote Memory Called Empire, which I adore. This is a novella by Subterranean Press. I believe, so would really like to get to that. 3 books I want to read by the end of the year. I have talked about so many books that I want to read for the end of the year. I feel like it's going to be repetitive. So we've already talked about I have all the new releases that I want to read for the end of the year. I do think I had like a mid-year check-in with things. In a couple weeks, I'm going to have series that I want to finish or get to next. I feel though, like I said at the start of this video, my life is a stress ball, but my reading I feel pretty on top of. And there's nothing need. And so I guess in the time capsule of this moment, the stuff that I've already mentioned in this video, I want to get to. I'm actually really excited that I have been reading a lot of the things that I have been wanting to read that like have had me excited as a reader. I guess the things that maybe challenge me more that I haven't gotten to yet. Oh, let's see. I'm just looking at my TBR shelf down here. We can just pick out a few real quick. After talking with Karen Lord, I don't think it's going to happen because of my mental health, but I really should read Brown Girl in the Ring. This has been on TBRs for years. Nayla Hopkinson is just like a Caribbean SFF darling. And I really liked Midnight Robber, even though it was hard. So I want to get to this, but it's just going to be challenging in so many ways. Another book that I would like to get to, I don't know. In terms of short story collection space, I'm most excited about trying out the new Sarah Pinsker collection, I think. That's where I am there. And then, let's see. I do think Jawbone, in terms of my Latinx project. This is the book in that TBR that I'm most excited of. So, in this moment, real time, those are 3 books. I'm not committing to anything. Alrighty, number 5. Is there something that could be a shocking new favorite book of the year that you weren't expecting? Which this is also always a hard question for me. Because most of my favorites are in some ways unexpected usually. Because I usually go into a book with similar expectations, fairly like I expect a book to be 4 stars. And then it can convince me it's a 3 or a 5, etc. Like that's usually what I go into it. So that's why you don't see 5-star prediction videos on this channel. I don't know what a 5-star is for me until I read it. Because there's always like nebulous qualities to it. Because part of it is the experience, and part of that's not the book's fault, you know? But the one I thought about that I'm like truly not sure it could be 5 stars, but I could see it being 5 stars, is the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, which are books that I'm supposed to read by the end of the year. The buddy read begins again in October, assuming I can keep up. We shall see. And the reason why I'm apprehensive is the Realm of the Elderlings have produced some of my highest highs and some of my most ambivalent, average opinions. Like Live Ship Traders is one of my favorite series of all time. And I'm very mid on Rainwild Chronicle, and also I'm just like not Fitz's biggest fan, but that 3rd book in Tawny Man, that was unexpected. And I think it's that book, the 3rd book in Tawny Man, I think Fool's Errand, where I'm just like, this could be like a really strong trilogy for me. And where my mental health is, maybe it hits me in my moment and it's just like, I get it now. I'm all in on Fitz, like who knows? I could see it going either way. I could see it being like a 3.5 to 4-star experience, and I could see it being like, this is just resonating with where I'm at, the payoff, etc., because it's like the pseudo end to this whole thing. Like I know Robin Hobb has mentioned she's working on something else, but this is like the end that we all know it to be, and a lot of people treat it like the end. Like it's a very good resting point for the series. So that is kind of, I think, of my plans that are set in stone, something that could surprise me. Poota's being very fidgety, so I'm going to show him to you guys real quick before I put him down. What was that? What was that? People are going to think I'm not nice to you. This boy, when you're seeing this video, is having a very bad day at the vet. So everyone, give him good thoughts. He's got to get his teeth cleaned and some of them pulled. When you're seeing this video, obviously when I'm filming it, that hasn't happened yet. All right, what's the last question? Oh, reading plans for next year. Ha! Ha! No. That's wild. Especially this year. Yeah, no. My life is in a very fluctuating place at the moment. There have been a lot of good changes this year. There's been a lot of sad changes this year. There's a lot of exciting changes. There's a lot of stressful changes. I do not know what next year looks like. Therefore, I don't have reading plans. I know I'll be reading. I'm always reading, whether it'll be more or less, whether I'll let it be structured or fast and loose. What is really nice about my reading right now is I've been closing out a lot of series and projects that I have connected with other people, so I don't necessarily feel a lot of pressure to keep up with things. Like this year I've finished Wheel of Time. I'm going to finish Realm of the Elderling soon. I'm working back on Malazan. Like, I don't feel overwhelmed by these projects I've started with myself that need to be finished. And everything I have been reading, I've really found a lot of authors I really like exploring their works. I feel like I'm good at finding projects that excite me to read and that can meet me where I'm at in my mental health for any given reason. So I think I'll always be reading. Whether it's a lot, whether, in any structured reads, I'm always going to be prioritizing my Patreon and if things we do there in the Discord and our live shows and things like that. And then, of course, I have a bunch of friends that I'm always buddy reading with, but we tend to do things very casually. It's not very strict. So we'll see. I want to keep that just because I like that part of my life. I love those conversations. I love fostering those friendships. But in terms of, like, big projects, me today cannot predict, and I will not, because it doesn't make me less stressed at the moment. I like planning other things. Other things planning makes me less stressed, but not this. So let me know, what are your reading plans for the end of the year? I don't know, any books you think I should have on my radar that are coming out at the end of the year. I tried to look at lists, but I just feel like August was the big release month for me and my tastes. Like, I was just trying to look, and I don't feel like November has things that I'm caring about, but it's probably because I'm just not on board with the new V.E. Schwab book. And I'll probably have to read it for reasons and other projects or something like that, but, like, whatever. Like, I don't mind Darker Shade of Magic. It's just not my favorite fantasy trilogy. So the idea of continuing that world, I keep forgetting it's happening till I see other people talking about it. So that's probably why, because I think that's the big one. Oh, no, I totally just remembered, and this is actually very important considering my mental health. The sequel to Fourth Wing's coming out at the end of the year. I'm excited for that. That's a new release I'm very excited for, because I really liked Fourth Wing. It did exactly what I needed it to do, and I need to know what happens next. And I'm hoping it doesn't have, like, middle book syndrome and stuff like that, but regardless, that's the one I was forgetting. But if there are other ones, let me know in the comments. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave some, like, rain clouds or rain or water, because it's raining. I don't know if you can hear that in this video. If you can, hope you enjoyed the ambiance. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.